All right, we're live. Somebody will
Hi,
show up
live.
soon. But no, yeah, that was my COVID beard, right? Where it was all
Oh
like
yeah,
really down
that's
here.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, COVID. I forgot that happened. It sort of disappeared.
Fuck, I didn't. Excuse me. Oh man, yeah, no, that was. I wonder if we're gonna get anybody on here. It's been a minute since I've done this. I
Ah, who
talked the
cares?
hell out of it on Facebook, but Facebook totally. Oh, there's two people. Yeah, Facebook is like really burying posts lately. Like you try
Is it?
to, yeah, yes, even in the like the group, the public group,
Hmm.
like that's I don't know. I
You're a
think you're
top
supposed
contributor now, though,
to, yeah,
so you
yay
get
me,
extra pull.
yes, yay me. No, I think you're meant to do this like on Patreon to really have a certitude that all the eyeballs that want to see your stuff are going to see it.
Are you going to do that?
No, I don't want to do Patreon. People, if they buy my books, that's enough. I don't need donations over Patreon, right?
Yeah.
But I try to post out links on the Facebook group and all that. Oh, here's this thing going on. Here's this book that's happening, or here's this explanation for whatever delay.
Hmm.
And man, I think they really bury the eyeballs behind a paywall now because I think
No,
like it
I
used to
think
be.
you're right.
I could
Uh,
I could reach a pretty decent amount of people and word would get out. Now I'm finding that I'll notify of something and it's over the next week you kind of watch and see, well, okay, how's this doing? Is word getting out to people? Are they in the know? And it seems they're still not getting informed. And it's either Facebook isn't getting that in front of them, or they're just sick and tired of me and they've got me muted.
I feel the same way about my books. Like I'll still do it. When I have a book completed and done and posted, I'll do a thing on Facebook about it. And up until like 3, maybe 6 months ago, lots of comments, lots of you could see like
Yeah,
all the clicks
totally.
and everything. Suddenly I'm getting like 2 people saying yay, and that's it, until like 2 or 3 weeks later, and then suddenly the count will go back up.
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell kind of like algorithm's going on, but I got
it's
to find a new way of advertising here.
I think, yeah, I think it's definitely paywall stuff. We got 9 eyeballs in here. That's
Hey, awesome.
it's
Hi
not so
everybody.
bad. Oh, they want me to make brisket. Can you see their comments coming through?
I can't. Oh wait, hold on. I'm in private chat. Let me go to comments. Hey, there we go.
Okay, cool. So you can see people talking. All right. Well,
Making brisket. Okay.
just in case nobody knows who the hell's on their screen right now, the one on your, I guess it's going to be your left, is Beard Guy. That's me. That's Josh. The one on the right is Garrett, who
The other
is
beard guy.
well, I guess we both, that doesn't really narrow it down now,
It
does it?
doesn't know. We both have glasses. We both have beards.
And we're
We both
just
have
we're
headphones on.
yeah, I think, well, you've got a little bit more hair than I do, so
Barely. It is retreating. Yeah,
you're winning.
barely. Barely. On the
uh but
retreat.
but yeah, guys, but Garrett is a good buddy of mine. We met, I think, has it been a year now? I think it's a year. I don't know,
Uh
maybe it's been 2 years.
since we did this last time,
Yeah.
YouTube says it was 2 years ago. I think it was like a year and a half.
Okay, yeah, who the hell knows? But he's an audiobook narrator who
Hi
got
everybody.
into he got into the business on his side very similarly to the way that I got in on mine, right? Like
Hmm.
somebody we got lucky and somebody opened a door for us and then suddenly we were off to the races.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And then at the time, like it was going good for you where you had I think you'd had a Craig DeLuey book under your belt
Yeah.
and some other projects were starting to open up.
Yeah.
And now, god damn it,
Things are good.
did
Things
I
are going good. Yeah.
did
No,
I
things
see
are
you
going.
nominated for an Audie?
Yeah, sure was. Yeah, with a group of incredibly talented narrators for a science fiction book called No Kindness Too Soon for Audible Studios.
So you were an
Um,
ensemble cast.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I was one of the leads, but yeah, it was definitely an
That's so
ensemble
great.
cast. Yeah, it was the evil Southern guy from Texas who didn't want to be there at all. Get out of here. Um, but it was a blast. It was a true blast.
That is
Um,
crazy.
thank you.
Well, I mean, just in such a short period, I, anybody listening, the Audie is kind of like the audiobook industry's Oscar.
Yeah.
It's a big one. Bob's got one. I know a few of the other biggies, the big names in your circles, they've got those.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, right? But
Jeff Kafer,
yeah, like that's a
Scott
big
Brick.
deal.
Yeah, it really is. I was blown away, just blown away. But
So
yeah,
so you went to the whole thing. They do that they do the award show in New York, yeah?
they did. This was the
Is that
first
right?
time after the pandemic they had one live. The past couple years they did it all online, which I don't know, sort of takes kind of the fun out of it, I guess. But
A little
last
bit,
year
little bit.
they, yeah, this just a few months ago they did it all up. It was at the Chelsea Piers in New York. It was, yeah, catered the whole. It was insane. It's very weird after, especially with the pandemic, not being around many people for a couple years, and then
Yeah.
being thrust into a ball with, I don't know, 1,000 of your closest friends suddenly. It was unbelievable. Like
Nice
it
to
was,
get back together again though,
oh my
you
god, it was so great. That, and then we had our annual convention, APAC, for audiobook nerds. Um,
know?
at the same time, or the day before. So we were able to go from one to the other, meet everybody, say hi to everyone. Hi, I haven't seen you in a long time. Oh, you're
Yeah.
going to the Audis? Yes. And then do that. And it was incredible. It was just incredible.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Now I don't uh
Do it.
I saw you announcing other things, but I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them.
Sure you are.
So why don't
Do
you
it.
just like you tell me what's going on with you? I mean, I know that's not the only thing professionally
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
going on with you right now. So what else? What else?
With professional stuff?
Hmm.
Well,
Narration.
I just got signed on to do my first book with Podium, which
Nice.
is kind of amazing. Um, One of those things I never really thought I'd hit. Kind of like it was a stretch goal, and somehow I'm hitting my
Really?
stretch goals 5 years in. Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, when you're first listening to Bob Bray doing Expeditionary Force on a Podium thing, and then
Yeah.
suddenly when they're just going through all of the credits of this was produced by and directed by, and now I have those same names on my book.
It's so
It was
weird, isn't
it was
it?
like, what is going on? That this what? But it was, yeah, so I'm doing Podium, and then um if audiobook fans out there, I'm sure you know the name Ann Richardson. She's like amazing and a grand dame of this whole industry. She helped me get a gig with a small company in the Midwest called Wheatmark, so I'll be doing a book for them.
Okay.
Tantor just signed me for a book coming up here.
Gee, that was another big
Um,
one.
yeah, and then our friend J.R. Handley, I'm doing a book for him coming up here in a few weeks. So, and then yeah, so Athon is still my bread and butter. I wouldn't be here without them. I just want to be that very clear
I think a
on
lot of people
to
can say
Rhett and
that now.
Steve. Yeah, they're
You know what I
they're
mean? Like,
they're huge. They're growing so fast. They're so supportive of the writers, of their narrators, of getting away from the AI thing and making sure they stay away from the AI thing,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
for the writers, for the narrators, for the book cover artists, and keeping it all human, which is such a
Well,
bizarre statement to have to say.
I also
But
love
yeah.
that they've got the pull to just go like talk to Amazon about that. Like, hey, we've got a meeting with these guys.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna sit down with these people. You know, whether Amazon really listens or like they're gonna make whatever decisions they're gonna make.
Yeah.
But at least like having that ability to go sit down at a table with these people and say, listen, here's the problem. They're
Yeah.
like, that's pretty awesome. And
It is.
it was so weird when I hooked up to it with them because it was such a fluke. Like back in the day, when Rhett and Steve started the thing up, he just happened to post about it online. I saw this random post on Facebook, and he said, "Hey, we're starting up this little independent publishing concern, and we're accepting submissions." And I saw Rhett Bruno, and I recognized his name because he was releasing books in the same,
Oh yeah.
I would say, altitude that I was, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think he was having some degree of success at the time, and I think it was really just like starting to click for him at the time too. He may have had some things that were happening that were big before that, and I just don't know about it. But I noticed like I kept seeing his name over and over again. Suddenly he was popping up again and again.
Oh yeah.
And then I see him posting about this this new startup thing, and I was like, well, I don't know how to market any of this shit. You know?
Yeah.
And I had already had 5 books out by then, and they were doing pretty well on their own. But I was like, I wonder how it goes if like I'm working with somebody that knows what they're doing. And at the time, I didn't really know what they were doing or not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I didn't know that they were going to be this good.
Yeah.
But I was just like, well, you know, this guy, he's been doing well over in these spaces, and he's been running his thing himself. So if he knows how to sell his own books,
Yeah.
it stands to reason he's going to be good at, because I couldn't sell my own books when I started, you know, like
Sure.
nobody knew who I was. I
Yeah.
didn't know how to line up any ad or any of that shit. Or like me, it was just like put the book up there and then, you know, tell your closest friends, and then it dies like a Tupperware party, right?
Oh yeah.
So like that was all I understood. And then I just got lucky because Bob liked my book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole reason I exist now. It's like through no acumen of my own. So these guys, like, they were actually doing it the other way, the way you're supposed to. And I was like, well, okay, maybe they can help me do that. So I messaged them, and we chatted a bit, and man, I'm glad I made that call. Because yeah, it turned out those boys are really, really good at what they do.
They really are, and they've just keep putting out huge books, and they're writers on their own. Like we said about Rhett. In fact, the book I'm listening to right now is their newest one together called Vain Pursuits. Have you listened to this yet?
Yeah, the Black Badge.
Holy shit, it's good.
Yeah,
It's so good.
I was out in Texas, I think a couple of years ago. I was hanging out with Steve.
Cool.
And that was when like the first one had just dropped, and it was like a really big deal. And we were talking about how certain things just they had just the right hook where everybody latches onto it really quick. And that series certainly seems to be one of those, because
Oh yeah. And they were nominated for an Audie too for the first one.
Yeah, everybody who looks at that one, they lose their damn minds. Like, this book is incredible.
And then you get Roger Clark from Red Dead Redemption 2 narrating it for you. It's hard to go wrong.
That was kind of a coup on their part.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean that I know that there was any crazy business dealings, but like I have no insider details on how they managed that, but
no, me neither.
They seem to have like the magic dust, you know.
I mean, they're producing books for Neil Diamond Phillips.
Yes.
Yeah. That's his name, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Lou Diamond Phillips.
Lou Diamond Phillips. Neil
like
Diamond.
Neil
Diamond Phillips. Sorry, Lou. Loved you in Young Guns. Sorry. But yes, Lou Diamond Phillips books. Yes.
Yeah, I would apologize to Lou Diamond Phillips. Neil, yeah. he's all right. Whatever.
Hey, forever in blue jeans, baby.
Well, I grew up watching Lou Diamond Phillips being a badass in movies and TV. Oh, yeah. So like there's kind of like that nostalgic imprint on my brain for him.
Oh, for sure.
I got some questions here really quick. Do you mind if I take them really quick? Yeah. I think it's good for both of us, actually. Are either of us truly worried about AI? You know?
Yeah, I see that from William. Yeah.
I'm
happy to start that one out.
Yes, for it, man.
Yes, absolutely. The industry is now being set up, from coming from narrator's perspective. The industry is actually being set up to run us out of business or put us out of business, because Apple, they're working with Spotify, and so audiobooks are now up on Spotify, and what they're doing is using our voices on the books that we have on Spotify to train their AI to sound like us. So we're putting ourselves out of business by trying to sell books on Spotify. Basically, it sort of came out of nowhere. No one saw what was happening, and then a narrator suddenly put something up on YouTube saying, "I don't know if you guys are knowing this is happening, but this is happening, and it's absolutely happening, and it's not there yet. But when you could pay me X amount of dollars per finished hour, or you could and have it take 2 weeks, or you could feed it into your computer over here and have it done in 30 seconds and cost you nothing, and it'll sound almost as good as what I can do," then they're going to go with that. That's just how it is. So until some sort of law around here, or it takes is put into effect around this or an agreement. Yeah, I'm really worried about it, honestly.
Yeah, I think I'm there with you, man. Um, I'm worried for a lot of people. I'm less worried about myself. I will be okay. Uh, if something happened or shifted in this business that you didn't see people buying a lot of books anymore, or I'm losing out to the automated competition, because I'm more worried about, well, I'm from an industry impact or standpoint. Yeah, I mean, I've already said there's no way I'm ever going to use any AI generated anything
Mhm.
on my books. Any kind of narration, it's going to be a human, or I'm not signing the paperwork. Any artwork that goes on the book, it's
Mhm.
going to be something that was created by a human, or I'm not signing the paperwork. I'm not interested in being published under those conditions. I'll go do something else. But I'm concerned about what it means for all of us, just in general.
Mhm.
There's certain technologies that are developed that upset industries, and you say, okay, well, that's the nature of evolution. That's how things work. At some point, a car comes along and it puts the buggy manufacturers out of business. They have to adapt, which is fine. I understand that very well. Believe me, more than a lot of people, maybe. But uh, now what we're doing is we're getting into art, which is an intensely human experience. It's not just product. I know there's a lot of shit out there that is just product, but there's there are people that are creating things that are designed to evoke a very human experience. And I think that with large tidal shifts that occur in the way just humanity in general consumes their entertainment, consumes their story. I think that it's a feedback loop, right? Like the
Mhm.
quality of the material they're getting, it feeds itself and it creates more. So it used to be like, if you go back in time, you saw a certain quality of movie, a certain quality of story being made, and then as you come forward and more commercialization is intermixed with the art, which is inevitable, like that has to happen. But you end up with things like reality TV, you know,
Mhm.
which is so much of it. I like there's some good reality TV, but most of it is a complete and total devaluing of human spirit.
Right.
And I remember when it first came on, like the first few reality TV shows, they were pretty good. They were thoughtfully made. The very first like
The real world.
real world on
Oh, yeah.
MTV, the first couple of seasons were of substance.
Mhm.
But then at some point they figured out, oh well, trash sells,
Yeah.
and go
And
go a
cheaper
few
to make.
seasons. Yeah, and it's cheaper to make and it doesn't require as much thought. And it really becomes the junk food of the human soul. And I think that what's going to end up being churned out as far as like artificially generated story or picture or whatever, I think it's going to have a tremendous sameness. um and I think that we as a culture, we are training ourselves to subsist on a junk food diet for the soul. And I'm not trying to gatekeep, I'm not trying to say what people should enjoy or what they shouldn't enjoy, but oh god, even if you're gonna watch trash, let that be trash that was made by a human,
Yeah.
you
May I
know?
take that one step farther and say, especially with the streaming wars now and all the different streaming platforms and all of them needing to come up with new content to fill their streaming platforms,
Yeah.
there's just a torrent of content now. It doesn't even have to be good. Most of it's not. I've seen Netflix lately. It's mostly garbage. but it's just the sheer amount of stuff that's there. I think all of our expectations are lowering as to what we can reasonably expect for quality. And then you can kind of slip AI stuff in there because
Yeah,
who's going to
it's
care?
so
Who's going to know the
weird.
difference?
It's so weird. I mean, it's not just it's not just the consumption of junk food. And I really don't want to sound like a snob, guys. Like I don't. But it's also like I've noticed that there's a growing rigidity or calcification in the audience, just as far, like, you get on social media and you watch a post about some property, some movie or whatever. I mean, first of all, it's all comic book movies, or it's all Star Wars movies, or it's some adaptation or a sequel or a remake, or it's another Fast and Furious movie or whatever. Which, that's whatever, man.
It has its
They're
place.
popcorn movies. It's the Jaws of this era. That's all it is. And but you get in the comments and you see how people argue or how people choose to argue about these things, and pillory the various people that are being hired to work on these things. And there's a certain degree of, you're okay with it because a lot of the things they argue about, those are the same things that you look at and it bugs you when you watch a movie or you read a book or whatever. But then on the other hand, you kind of look at how worked up they're really getting, and you think, Jesus, man, chill out.
Yeah, about a cartoon. You're
Well,
getting this stuff about a cartoon.
about whatever, about what your special chosen thing is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, on one hand, you kind of like, okay, I get it, right? Like I get I get the disappointment. Like, man, I remember just being intensely disappointed with the Star Wars prequels. I was so pissy about it for a while, and then you just, like, after, what it was, my brother-in-law as a young man, when he was very young and coming up, like, those were his Star Wars movies as a kid, right?
Mhm.
And he was into them. And you can't be sitting there and humming and hawing about the movie when the kid's sitting there watching him, and he loves it, and he loves the Clone Wars, the shows they had on TV,
Oh,
and like, he follows up on all the lore and everything, and he's watching it, and it's like, okay, well, this is his generation Star Wars. Okay, this isn't mine. Mine was the one in the 70s. And then at some point you got to grow the hell up. Just stop being so pissed. But a lot of people are.
Yeah.
They don't
Instead
like
of
their
just
toys
saying,
getting screwed
that's
with,
just, yeah. Sometimes you just say, you know what, that's just not for me.
Yeah,
That's where I am in life. There's just so many things come out. I was like, I don't get it. I could be angry. It's just not for me. And that's fine.
man.
It's not made for me. I'm not their intended audience. Though I will say, I fucking loved the Clone Wars, the show. Loved it. Loved it.
So I never watched it.
Okay.
But don't hate me.
Please.
But like, I understand, like, that's more or less universally loved, right? Like, there's no
Oh yeah.
wiggle room on that, right? Like,
not,
everybody's just, they love it.
Yeah. I haven't heard anything necessarily bad about it. And then the voice actor who does the clones, all of them, one guy does all of them, and he finds a way to make hundreds of different clones sound the same, but have just a little bit of personality different from everybody else. It's brilliant, and the whole thing just looks like it's hand drawn, and it's just a gorgeous show. And that's where we got Ahsoka Tano, she's like the next big thing coming into Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess that is. I wonder how that's going to go, because
I hope good.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. The Star Wars guys, they're you don't want to mess with them. They're like Lord of the Rings fans. You don't want to don't mess with them too much.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Yeah. What else do we have here? It's a very quiet room tonight. We got like 19, 20 people.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see
you. Got this here. There are a lot of authors that, trying to beat the algorithms, put out a lot of crap books. Oh God, yeah, I don't know. To that end, I saw Steve, one of the co-owners of Aethon, our publishing company. I guess it's ours, right? You work with him
Yeah,
too.
absolutely.
And he had stated that he'd seen a prominent author declare that he or she, I don't know who it was, he wouldn't say who it was, he's got too much class, but there was a prominent author that had publicly stated their intent that and big name, evidently,
Mhm.
okay, stating, oh yeah, I'm going to start churning product with AI. I'm just going to start crapping this stuff out. It's like, man, if it comes out looking or reading of ass,
Yeah.
do you really want to put your name on? I guess some people don't mind. I guess they'll just do that. Like
Yeah.
I'll mess up. You know what? I'll mess up points in my story sometimes, or I'll do something that people don't particularly enjoy or approve of. And I understand it. They're just like, I disagree. That was dumb. Whatever. That's cool. But by God, at least it came from somebody who was like really thinking about it,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
the decision I made isn't there because I was trying to be an asshole. Like I really thought about it and it really seemed like the right thing to do to me. So at least you've got that, even if you didn't
Mm.
like it, like I
Yeah.
really worked my ass off on this.
That was an organic decision that happened,
Yeah.
sure.
I couldn't imagine somebody just like putting a prompt into something and then it spits out a bunch of words and publish that. And this is my magnum opus. Send me money, please.
Now, how different is that to you than an author hiring somebody else or having somebody else write a book and publishing it under their name? Aside from the whole mechanical, it's a computer Terminator, we're all gonna die situation.
That's a really good question, honestly, that I had not considered. You know, I I, I haven't really considered all the ins and outs of this. So whatever answer I give right now may evolve after I give this some thought. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna take that caveat right now.
Sure.
But well, just on its face, it seems less egregious to me because it's whoever the hell it's coming from a human, so
Right.
like that somebody wrote it, but it does, like, to me it strikes more or smacks more of product, except that I would say there's a lot of people out there who have had really fascinating lives and they can't write a book for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they don't have the motivation or the organizational skills. Maybe they don't have the time. Uh, any factor. They're not a natural writer. They don't enjoy the process. But we still want to know about them. We want to know about their lives and what they did. Fascinating people,
Mhm.
people who, and I think in a lot of cases, if we didn't have ghostwriters, then we would not get those stories. And
Sure.
and I figure that there's probably like a good journeyman writer there, uh, underpinning the book, that's having interviews with this person and really learning about them. And then, for whatever reason, the publishing deal is, well, it says written by this person. Maybe they decide that sells better than the authorized biography or whatever. But I think there's a lot of cases where there's just like really interesting lives of impactful people that we just wouldn't get to know about in that kind of detail without that.
Mhm.
On the other hand, if we're talking about a work of fiction and it's some sort of popular series, so I'm not going to name names, but I'll say for myself, okay. I would have a really big problem hiring somebody else to write a commune book for me and then putting my name on it.
Mhm.
You know, um, for one, that's not my work, so I didn't do it, and I'm I kind of take the creation of this shit seriously. But two, like, that's somebody who somebody else put their heart and soul into anything, and they're nobody's going to know they did it. Nobody's going to get their name. And that if you put that much work into something, by God, let a person be recognized. So I would much rather have somebody come and write in this setting, like as a guest writer,
Mhm.
and say, here is a story in this setting written by this person, not me, this person. I would be much more likely to do that than, ghostwriting fiction seems, I don't want to call it cheating, but it's
It's a little
cheating.
cheating.
It's
It's a little
cheating.
cheating.
It's cheating.
Agreed. Also, can I just throw that out there? Hi, Cooper. My son's watching. I'm
Oh, is
very
he?
excited. Yeah, he's a
Where's he at?
huge fan of yours. I don't think he's written anything up. I just texted back and forth with him. But
But is he at your house right now with you, or?
oh no, he's at his mom's house.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, Cooper, hey man, how you doing? Thanks for letting me borrow your folks in Vegas. They're fun to hang out with.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a blast.
Yeah, for everyone
You
else,
go-
yeah. There's a book author conference in Las Vegas every November called 20 Books, and I got to meet the beard guy here for the first time in person, and it was a lot of fun, hanging out with he and his lovely wife, and going to Italy and Bellagio and all
awesome,
kinds
wasn't
of fun
it?
stuff. Yeah, that place was great. And then
Best
the
bucatini.
giant like dream steak dinner with like every author you could possibly think of was, god damn it, that was cool.
That was a blast. That was really fun. It was God, I don't how did that come, it was your idea, right? Like that was your dinner.
Yeah, I wanted to have dinner with you, and you said, "Oh, I bet I can get these other guys." And I said, sure, why not?"
Well,
Yeah,
that's what it was. I said there were other people that I wanted to meet for dinner when I was down there, because it was my first time going to this thing, and like I was trying to like line up dinners with all of them on different nights, and I just like, this is a pain in the ass. This is stupid. Like, they've got these business meetings because like I was just there to party, right? But Nick was working, Rhett was working, Steve was, they were all glad handing and doing their stuff. So I was, oh man, hey, can more people come to this dinner thing?
it was awesome.
Yeah, that worked out. That was really fun. Are you going this year?
I don't know. I'm really busy now. I'm sort of booked out through December at this point, so I'm gonna try. If I can get out for a couple days, I'll definitely try for sure to go.
Yeah.
How about you?
I don't know. It's just as you said. This is a busy year. I think I'm gonna have a busy few years here, but if it works out, the cool thing is that it's close enough to Thanksgiving that if I decide like, oh, I'm just going to take this week off versus taking Thanksgiving time off, it's close enough. I don't care. I'll shift it around. I don't absolutely need to have a turkey. I can make a brisket whenever I like. So
I like it.
Yeah.
You should do that more and post more pictures. That's real nice. Good looking stuff.
Yeah, no, I think I got it now. I think I got it figured out.
But you got to do the after pictures this time before everybody tears it apart.
Yeah, that's hard. They get tired of it because my son gives me shit, right? Because like he just wants to eat the damn thing.
Sure.
And I'll pull it out. And he calls me. He says like I'm one of those soccer moms because he's like, oh my god, you're taking pictures of your food and posting it to social media. And I'm like, hey, I've got barbecue aficionados. Damn it, I got food people. They like food. Yeah. I like food.
You got to post it.
We're gonna share that.
Yeah.
Stop it, Dad. You're lame. So yeah.
How old is he? 16. Everything you do is going to be lame. He's 16.
Yeah. No, he's 16. He's a lot of fun. He's a good dude. I like hanging out with him. Awesome. He's a sarcastic son of a bitch, but
I would expect no less.
He comes by it honestly. It's like it's my fault, Yeah. So I think it was definitely my influence. It was certainly Jennifer's influence. She can be a very she can get you. Oh look, there's more. Oh my god, there's more people. Look,
there's a lot more.
Look at this. I'm gonna hold on. Let me.
Sure.
I'm just gonna put this up. It's gonna cover our faces.
Do it.
Fans of this fight, you are a fan favorite. Come speak to me. Other writers. I'm gonna assume that everybody else can read. I don't need to read for you.
I can narrate.
You get any prepper fan blowback? I don't think I get blowback. Maybe I do. I don't really know. I'm not listening a lot to what they're saying about me. I don't care. I know that Angry American reads my stuff. He likes my stuff. He was really nice guy. We right when I started blowing up, like my books started getting noticed. I think he happened to read a few of them, and contacted me and had really nice things to say. So he, when we chatted, he was a lovely dude. Very generous with his time, very generous with advice, because I didn't have any clue what I was doing, and he was already way deeply in. Also, I thought he was very welcoming, given that I'm not a prepper. Like I don't. That's not really my area of focus when I'm writing these things. It's not my concern. I know there's a lot of overlap. And you can see that, I think, a lot in the first book, because there was certain things I thought, like, you must include in the story, because if you don't do that, you're not checking all the boxes properly. I was young and green, but there's a lot of unnecessary details in that first book that just don't need to be there. It's messy. It slows the story down. It brings narration to a halt, and it's so funny because, like, I can look at it now and say, yeah, that's so, like, all of that should be streamlined, and there should be areas of focus on other things here that drive character, drive plot, and so forth. And my wife noted as much when she read it the first time. She's like, all the gun shit, knock it off. and I remember at the time I was like, yeah, noted. Like, I think it might be, but at the same time, I think this is what I'm supposed to do. Like, I'm not sure. How much do I take? Like, this is stuff that's supposed to be there. So, at the time, like, nobody knew who the hell I was. I figured it wasn't going to hurt anything. Out it goes. And then after it takes off, a lot of the people who read the thing, like the people in that community, the feedback that I get from them, it's positive, and they're like, thanks for doing your homework. It's evident that you looked into this stuff. And I know there's other stuff that I got wrong, because, one can only do so much, like skimming through articles and reading papers and so forth, and like trying to, okay, what are things that work? What are smart things to do? And then after that, like, once you've got this giant list of things, there's a bunch of stuff that's like true wisdom. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's nonsense, right? And then you have to use your common sense to kind of pick and choose from each of these, like, what works, what do you think really functions. So I will say that I've been told I did an okay job. I didn't screw it up too bad, and I get thank yous for that, which is very nice. I appreciate it.
Cool.
But
I liked all the added details myself. I thought it added to the world building. I also loved, and please excuse me if I got the name wrong, I love that most of that had been done by, I think his name was Billy, by the time that Jake actually showed up there.
Yes.
Or that he found him on the road. That had been done. It wasn't like this big process of now we got to do this, and then we got to do this, and then we got to do this. It was mostly laid out already, which I liked, and then it sort of filtered in other details elsewhere.
Yeah, because again, that wasn't the interest I had in writing the thing. A lot of it kind of comes through dialogue dumps between characters talking.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to find some way to make the details interesting to myself. Like, look, I grew up with firearms and gear and all that stuff, right? Like, I used to go out shooting with my dad, and we still do. My son and I go to the range, but I don't have all the shit hot stuff that the young guys are slinging. I grew up on wheel guns. My dad has a bunch of lever rifles and stuff. So that's the kind of stuff I would shoot. That's the kind of stuff I still shoot. My fun range toy is a 454.
Holy hell.
So
that'll do it.
So then in the book, there's all these optics, and there's all these gazentas and doohickeys that you bolt onto the side of the thing, and there's all these others, length of pull, and this is how you wear a sling and everything, and this is how you do this, and this is how you do that. It's like, okay, don't screw that up, but Jesus Christ, I'm going to be glad when I'm done writing this part.
Well, I
He just
love that you had Gibbs throwing a 338 Lapua there in one of those last books when they're on the truck or the bus fighting on the way back to the
yeah.
camp. That was kind of fun. So you don't hear that very often.
Well, I think what was it? It was that wasn't something that I had just randomly pulled up. I'd heard about that round in somebody else's story. Like I had heard about the round in real life, right?
Mhm.
And then because my again as a kid, a hobby, my dad and I we used to reload, in the garage.
Awesome.
We're not crazies. It's just we like to target shoot with really high
Yeah,
priced ammo, and it's too goddamn expensive to just go buy it. Okay,
absolutely. Yeah.
exercise my right. Shut the fuck up. But it's one of those rounds that I had heard of and then forgotten that I knew about. And then I read about it in, I think it was Arisen. I think,
Hmm.
I think Fuchs put that in there. Allie, sniper. I think she was either using that round or she was in a sniper fight with
With
some
someone with the 338
some
Lapua.
some Spetsnaz fool. And it was like a sniper fight from two helicopters. It's the most improbable,
It
ridiculous
really
thing you've
is.
ever. Yeah. It's the
Almost
most
as sorry, go ahead.
most ridiculous thing you've ever heard of, right? But of course, like when you're reading it in the book, you just
Yeah.
you're totally dialed in. Like, fuck, what happens next?
Yeah. Yeah. Almost as unlikely as a B-17 falling apart around you and you just sort of falling through and being fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's you don't you don't read the Arisen series because you're looking for verity or hard realism.
Yeah.
You're what you're looking for is a kick in the ass, and then
Yeah.
a
It's
hell of a
awesome.
ride that doesn't stop. And
Great series. I loved it.
I don't think I'll bet if you looked in his cars, I bet he doesn't have any brake pedals.
Lots of cocaine though. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I don't.
No.
No, you know what? He seems to be a pretty healthy guy, like very,
Yeah, no,
very
totally.
physically active, wiry as hell. He looks like a runner.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's a great series.
I've got someone here it's Facebook user. Yeah. Wish I could just brainstorm plot and character development and have someone else do the writing.
Oh, then you need a ghostwriter.
I don't know. I don't know, like nothing about that, because I think that it's true. It's like it's the same thing. People have big ideas in their head, and they have things they want to express, and sometimes maybe they just feel like they don't have the words for it. But I don't know, if the process of sitting down and actually writing out your heart on the screen or the paper is laborious or unappealing, then don't do it. I think you should do something else. I think you should find some way to get that same whatever it is out of you somehow. But like having control of the words, that's a big part of this. That's a big aspect by which the writer reaches into your head and manipulates a shared experience to create an image. And I think you just give up too much control when you lose control of the words. It's like I've got on my, maybe I shouldn't say this. Is this being a braggart or?
No, it's your channel. Do it.
I don't. I have final edit on my books.
Awesome.
I don't let like publishers or whatever change what the wordage is. Like I write it out. I get it looking the way I want it, the way I think it ought to be. I send it in. They send it out for a copy edit to fix any spelling or grammar mistakes that I've made. But then they send it back to me with track changes turned on, and I go through it. And I've got the final say to either approve or disapprove of whatever adjustments have been made.
Outstanding.
And like I treasure having the ability to do that, because I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people don't even care. A lot of people write it out and then they send it over the wall and they think, thank God I'm never going to see that damn thing again. You want to fix it, you want to change some words, fine, fuck it, I'm on vacation right now, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But I mean for my part, every this is going to sound precious. Every word I put down on that page, man, has been agonized over. You're not touching it. I mean,
That's awesome.
I'm not doing it if I can't have it be that way. I'll do something else.
Well, it's because you care about it. I mean, you put all this energy and love into it, and that shows on the other side. That's why you have all of me talking here and all these people, signing in to listen to you talk, because we recognize how much
I
energy and love you put into that.
I appreciate that. I don't know that I write the best out of anybody, but what I'm hopeful of is that uh, whoever it is on the other page reading or listening to the thing is found it to be a worthwhile experience. Like that's all I want. I want somebody to be entertained or come out of it and think, well, that was a good ride.
Well, mission accomplished there, man.
Kind
And
of
as
what I'm
someone who
looking for.
reads other authors for a living, you're a very good author. You're a very good writer.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
I did not go to school for it. Look at this guy. He wants to know if I ever consider giving up my day job. That would be crazy. I mean, yeah, it's I don't know. I think that's probably something that a lot of writers dream about doing. I know a lot of them have done it. I know a lot of them personally that have done it, and they're on that trolley now. And I had thought about it earlier, like, oh, that what, that might be cool. Like, oh, what if this is just what I did now? But I'm going to say that for my taste, I'm not a gambler. I don't like to gamble, and for my taste, the industry is far too fickle, and it's far too hard to keep and maintain interest in the projects that you're working on a large enough scale to make the living and life that my family has right now and that I want to give to them. It's too rocky, it's the money is too uneven. Unless you get on a real treadmill.
Yeah, I get that.
And then your ass is cranking.
Yeah.
And I look at some of these guys and the way they're doing their thing, like Nick Smith, Craig Allenson, although I think he's kind of like in a semi-retirement second career anyway. Like he had a whole career and now he's doing this and doing very well. But like Nick works harder than I do, and I've got 2 jobs. Like that boy is always hustling.
He is.
And he's the king of it. He's got a hell of a book series going. He's got tons and tons of success with it, which is wonderful. I love
Helldivers.
I love seeing the guys kick ass. It's really great. But I mean, he works his ass off, and I like having the freedom and the wherewithal to write something and not worry. Because a lot of these guys that this is their main nut. They write a thing, they put it out, they agonize about it because that's their income for the next little while. How's it going to do? And not only that, but Garrett, I'm sure you're familiar with this. Your next payday is only as good as your last project.
Yeah, it's exactly true.
So I mean, if you have a few flops, that could really jack up your momentum.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of guys, and they don't speak about this publicly, and I would never say who I would think is worried or not, because I tend not to talk with them too much about that. Like the times that we get together, we're always celebrating, and I don't want to bring up anybody's anxieties.
Yeah, of course.
about where it's like we're here to not talk about this. We're just here to have fun, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if there were guys that were guys or gals. When I say guys, it's like
sure,
the unisex guys. But I think there are some of them that they're really sweating releases and oh shit, how's this going to hit? I think when they have to finish off a series and because you just have to, it's time, and then start up a next one. I think there's a lot of stress that goes with that.
I'm sure.
A lot of unease, like shit, is this going to be as good?
Did you
things going
have
to keep
that
up?
going back to do to start commune again at 5 and now 6?
No, because again, if it comes out and it flops, I still have a very enriching career. You know,
Mhm.
I can put it out, and if people like it or don't, if they like it, if it does well, and if it goes on to become something else, that's wonderful. And you know, the first commune series was really a fluke. You know, thing that kind of thing doesn't happen. It's not normal,
Yeah.
and so you can't really expect that to happen with like each subsequent project that you work on. It's not going to be that way.
Right.
I don't have the altitude and momentum for that to happen. I know a lot of writers that don't have that. You don't get that until you get to like this top stratosphere position that, you know, like Stephen King, all he has to do is type the word fuck and it sells, you know?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that, you know, what you've got this rarefied air at the top, right? Where you've got writers like that. And then you have another section below that where you still have, you know, highly successful writers, but they have to work a little for it, you know, like they're pursuing. So, and then you've got, you know, another tier below that, I think, where you've got your 6-figure a year jobbers, your journeymen that really, you know, they crank. They're maybe not writing the thing that is their most favorite thing in the world, but you know, God damn it, they've got a talent, they've got a skill, and they got bills to pay, and they're
Mhm.
going to pay them. And I have nothing against those people. I got respect for them too. They're paying bills, you know, and good for them. And if they're writing something that people want to read, good for them. Fantastic. And then below that, you've got like me. You know, maybe I can put something out, and maybe it takes hold and it's lucky, and maybe it doesn't. Nah, whatever. Fuck it. And if it doesn't, I'll be okay. I'll
That's
be fine.
awesome.
Yeah. And you know, apart from that, I won't go into details about my job tour because you know, obviously it's a private position, and I'm not authorized by my company to represent it. There's very strict stuff about that, like with social media and whatnot.
Of course.
But I will go as far as saying that I love my day job. I love the company that I work for. It's highly challenging, highly rewarding work. The engineers that I get to work with are some of the finest engineers I've ever encountered in my career, and I've been doing this since 2001 now. I've been with the same company that I've been with for 17 years now, which you don't see that a lot anymore, and you don't,
Yeah.
especially in like in my industry, you don't see that a lot. And I've been there that long because I want to be. And if the book gig went away, if it dried up tomorrow, I would. I'm blessed that I would still have a fantastic career that keeps me very engaged and very entertained at what I do. So I'm very fortunate to have the job that I do, and it gives me wonderful freedom to write whatever I want to write, whatever occurs to me, and I don't have to worry so much about what are the percentages or what boxes am I checking and in what
Mhm.
genre. I can just do what I want. It's very nice.
I was actually gonna ask you about that. Do you think not having that sort of financial stress makes you a better writer? So you don't need to worry about getting on the treadmill or rushing through something just to get it published to pay some bills, but you can take your time with it?
I think it helps me to be bold. I don't think it helps me to be a better writer.
Okay.
I think it helps me to be bold with the choices that I make when I'm writing. Uh, because you know there is a little voice back here that's rattling in my head, and God, don't let me talk too long about myself. By the
Oh,
way, I just
please.
kind of feel like
Do it.
how boring. But there's a little voice in the back of the head here somewhere that says, you know, make entertain the most amount of people that you can. You know, I'm not making like artistic decisions to piss people off because I've got some kind of bizarre avant-garde bent or something. It's like I'm the main thing I'm trying to do is transmit an idea to a group of people. I'm trying to reach as many people as I can, and I'm trying to make them happy. I'm trying to entertain. So there's a big piece of this process up here that says, okay, well, what's satisfying, what's enjoyable, what makes a rewarding experience for them to go through. And I'm always angling for that, but I can do things if I'm not worried about that royalty check or whatever. I have the ability to do things that are probably unconventional, and I can take chances, and whether the chances, whether they work or they don't, I learn things from them, right?
Mhm.
Like Commune 5 was a chance, and I knew it was, and it went okay, you know.
I
And
loved it, by the way.
I'm fine with that. Well, yeah, I appreciate that. I know there were a lot of people that did. I know there were a lot of people that didn't want anything to do with it,
Mm.
which is cool, the I well, also I think, the big bummer about that was also the foul up with the book description,
Oh, right.
and
Okay.
that one, like, that's a pain in the ass because you can explain it over and over and over again until you're blue in the face, but you're not going to reach everybody,
Right.
no matter how many times you talk about it. And there's always going to be people that are coming back and saying, this description is bullshit, and you sold us a bad bill of goods, and it's a
Mm.
money grab. And it's like, oh man, I try to get that information out there in as many different ways. There's a whole long Reddit post that I put up
Hmm.
just concerning it, because I wanted people to understand. I was like, yes, this sucks if you thought this book was going to be one kind of thing based on this description, and here's what happened. And it was probably, if I had been at the time more on the ball checking things, right, then I probably would have caught it sooner and had been able to get it fixed up. But I mean, the post on this thing had been up for weeks already, and people had seen the description and purchased based on this,
Yeah.
what was up, right? So then when it came out, and like, my thing was, okay, Athon, my publisher, Podium, tertiary
Mhm.
entity that they are dealing with, and I am not dealing with them directly. I deal with these guys here, right? So Red asks me, I need a synopsis for the book. Okay, here's what happens, right? Send that over to him. It's my dog barking at someone over here. Here's what happens in the book. I'm not good at writing these things. I do not synopsize well. The length of my books should indicate already I'm not good at getting to the point. But for these summarizings, here's a general. Now you put up a marketing blurb, Mr. Marketing Wonk. That's why you get a percentage of this. Do your job.
Mhm.
And Rhett banks something out, and he is minded like that. He's got that muscle, that ability. So he puts stuff together that's good. Sometimes the details are wrong. In this case, the details were wrong. It does not rejoin all of your favorite characters from the original series. So it's going to be like one dude, one dude is showing up.
Yeah.
That needs to be clear. And he's like, okay, we'll get it taken care of. And he sends me the fixed version over, and I'm like, yes, that looks better. Go with that. So then I go and check the Amazon site, go check the ebook, go check the print and all that, which was all that was for pre-order at the time. Go and look at those things. Yes, that's all good. That's all corrected. Done. Peace. Then the audiobook comes up and it's got the wrong description.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shit show, man.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was a
It's no
bummer.
good.
So like, but you kind of, well, you try to explain to people, right? You say, okay, look, here's the long, ridiculous ass explanation for how this has come to pass. If you return the book because you thought you were going to get this, and you're disappointed, I salute you. Please return it. Please get your money back. I'm so sorry this happened. I feel really bad about that. And but apart from that, then there were people who understood that going into it, and still there were more than a few comments where people said I was having a hard time keeping everybody sorted because it's a huge cast of characters, right?
Mhm.
Now you have to understand, and at first it confused me too, because I was like, why is it so hard to follow this, right? Like, you go back through your text, right?
Yeah.
You go back through your text and you read the thing, and it's like, okay, all this lines up, all this tracks, everything, but most of my audience are listening to a book.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing other things while they're listening to it. They're distracted.
Oh, I see what you're getting at.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Sure.
So already the story is competing with the world encroaching upon them.
Right.
Because people don't just put on an audiobook and then sit in a chair in a quiet room and focus on every word. Like when you're listening to an audiobook, your brain can wander,
Mm-hmm.
and then, oh shit, and you come back.
Right.
So if you're doing that, if you're in the process of engaging in activities and listening to this story, and the text is firing many names at you at once, you're going to get a little lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was something that I did intentionally in the story. It was something that Devin and I both decided to do, just to kind of set the story and the flavor. It was like there's got to be a huge cast in this book, right? There's got to be fucking scope. This encounter, it's got to be, and probably like I think we would have been better served breaking it into 2 books.
Oh, I could see that.
And giving the reader a little bit more time with everybody so that they, to kind of ease them in. And I think it would have gone better if we had done that. But I was, and this may have been my mistake, I was bound and determined to have it done in 1 book. And I mean, it was huge. It was almost 190,000 words.
Oof.
All done. I mean, it's not as long as Commune 4, but it's longer than Commune 3.
That's up there.
And I wanted, because I'd been away from the series for a bit and was coming back to it, I wanted everybody to kind of feel like they were coming in on their back foot.
Yeah.
I wanted people to feel like, oh, some shit is different. And I have to readjust to this world again. I have to relearn the rules of this world, because I think things were really, they were really figured out and well established at the end of Commune 4. Like all that status quo had been pretty well situated. Yeah. And I didn't want people coming back to something that was completely familiar like that. I wanted it to, like, you're getting on something different here. So there was a little bit of that bridge. There's a little bit of that scavenging and all that other shit from it. But this book was very much about building toward what comes next. In fact, when Devin and I were talking about working together, we were actually talking about a completely different story.
Really?
And then Commune 5 happened. Kind of like Commune 1 and Commune 2 happened, right? Like 3 and 4 were the story I wanted to write, but then I realized,
no kidding,
there's more that I need to set up, right?
Huh. I didn't know that.
So there was this trilogy story that he and I wanted to tell together. But then I realized that just the scope of that story, it required help to get there. I couldn't just throw it. Like Commune 7 takes place, God, I think it's 23, 25 years after the fact, like after everything happened. Yeah, it's way ahead in the future. And I realized, like, if I'm just diving into that, it might as well not even be the same series anymore. It's going to be so different and so weird that people are going to feel like they've been rug pulled. So
wow, that's fascinating.
I was telling Devin, I was like, what we really need? Like, we need a prequel, but I don't like writing prequels. So I think we just better step back and write this goddamn book here. Yeah. And I said, so let's write 4 together. And we kind of worked it out, and it did work out. So that's what we're doing now. But yeah, that's 5, awesome. Like I knew it's like I can't. You hear him?
Yeah, I heard him.
You see somebody outside. He does not like strange people outside. But who does? I wanted like hell to get out of Wyoming. Like,
yeah,
Wyoming is exhausted now. There's nothing else to do there anymore.
Got it.
We have to build new stuff.
So then 6 comes out the end of June, the end of this month.
Yeah. A couple of weeks, I guess.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Have you heard any takes from Bob on it?
Yes. He's enjoying it.
Good.
I'll say that. I hesitate to share in detail what Bob shares with me, because he is in private communication. Like already you've seen him publicly, like he's a blunt son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But in private communication, he's even more blunt. And we all talk to each other privately differently than we do in public.
Sure.
So I prefer not to throw the man under the bus and say specific details. There was one message that he sent me though when he was doing 5 that I really appreciated. The only thing that he did with 6 was he sent me a picture of his pad in the studio. The first page of Commune 6. He was starting to read it, and he said, "Just wanted you to know I'm starting up with this. Looking forward to getting into this one. Yada yada yada." Right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing beyond that. Not you're the, but Commune 5. I don't know what scene he was reading because I didn't get any detail around this message. But there was just one day I woke up and there was a text message waiting for me on my phone from Bob, and all it said was, "Dude, your writing is beautiful."
Aw.
And then that was it. Like nothing else to say. Like I thanked him. I was like, "Oh man, I really appreciate it." And then of course he blows you off because he's terrible at communicating.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, he enjoyed that one. I guess I think he's going to enjoy 6. There was a lot of material in 6 that I wrote just for him, and I didn't write it just for him because I thought it would be so funny to have him read it.
Okay.
There was personal material that I put in there from me to him that I hope he enjoys having the opportunity to read, because
Aw.
I wrote it thinking that he would enjoy that thing. So
That's awesome.
we'll have to see how it goes once he's finished with it and all that. I suspect he isn't finished yet. He started it a little, I think, late according to his timetable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And again, I don't like talking Bob business too much.
No, don't.
But
Don't.
I know he's after it right now.
Cool.
And I think it's like June 27th now.
Outstanding.
I'm not sure what day it is. I'm not good at these things.
But if anyone in chat knows, you can throw it up there. It'd be great.
Yeah, but I will say that was that was one of my favorite writing experiences ever, doing that one.
I can imagine,
because with my other books, I've always planned them out very meticulously, because I tend to do tricky shit sometimes. So if you're going to do things like that, then that means that you have to know all of the steps along the way. You can't make it up as you go, because you're going to screw it up if you do that. Right. But with 6, the story, in essence, just the plot, the things that happen in the book were so straightforward that I felt comfortable to not plan anything. One day I just kind of like, after I was done with 5, I took a few weeks there to just kind of like, cool my jets and recharge. Mm-hmm. And then very soon after that, I had this itch. I knew what I wanted to do. And I remember like that morning, the first morning working on Commune 6, I was so excited to get going on it that I woke up at like 3:34 in the morning.
Oh my God.
And then came in, got my coffee, sat down I write early. That's when I do these things.
Got it.
I do that for like on the weekdays. I do it for like a couple hours every day. And then I do my job. Mm-hmm. Then on the weekends, I bust ass. Right.
Sure.
But, yeah, man, I couldn't wait to wake up. I couldn't wait to start going. And it came out really quick. No planning. Like,
that's amazing.
Maybe I shouldn't say this, but
say it.
when the thing comes out, when you guys get it, it might worry people, but that's pretty much the first draft.
That's amazing.
I blasted that shit out so damn quick, and it was effortless. I hadn't had an experience like that since I was a kid. It was fantastic.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Was the whole book like that, or just that one section you wanted?
No, every inch of it.
Oh, fantastic.
Every page. I knew exactly what I was doing. I knew exactly what needed to happen. I didn't need a roadmap. It was just you sit down to work, and everything that you need to do it is just right there. And there's no searching for it. It's fantastic.
That's so great.
They don't all go like that, but man, that was a good one.
That's so cool. And it looks like, thank you, Penny and Matt, the 27th of this month is the release date.
Jesus.
So that's
What's
exciting.
you've got you've got something new coming, don't you?
I've
You've
got a
always got
lot of
something
stuff coming
new.
new.
What's have you got anything dropping this month? What's
Yeah,
that?
actually,
What?
on the 16th, another Craig DeLuey book called Jinn. It's a supernatural thriller military thing.
Oh.
Takes place in Afghanistan. A woman is going back to look for her father, who was part of this group called the Witch Doctors, that got wrapped up in witchcraft and things, and how to bring that into the larger military. And it all goes wrong, but it's a lot of fun.
Doesn't it
So
always?
it does, and that'll be out the 16th. Yeah.
So
I'm in the
I'm gonna
yeah.
oh, sorry, go ahead, man. Go
Oh,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna put you on the spot and ask you if you
Sure.
enjoyed doing it.
If I enjoy doing that book?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Did you
god,
like it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
anything, Craig DeLuey does, I'm like, "Yes, please." Yes,
Good.
he really was the first, like, professional big author who gave me a job to
Mm-hmm.
do, and I did Armor for him, which is a series of five stories about a tank crew in World War II.
Hmm.
Um, and he had no business doing that. I had been narrating, I think I had 1 book, 2 maybe, and he gave me that, and it's like, this is a guy who, like you, employed R.C. Bray to do Crash Dive for him, like, right before this. So, I had no business doing this. It turned out really well. People seemed to like it. Um, so I owe that man a ton,
I
for giving me
think
a shot.
I think that must be how it is in a business like this. I think everyone probably has somebody that we can point to and say, had it not been for the actions of this
Oh, yeah.
person, I wouldn't have gotten any traction. Nothing
Yeah.
would have happened to me.
And he
Um,
refuses to acknowledge it. He's like, "No, no, no, it was all you." It's like, "No, no. I mean, I did the work, but I wouldn't have been there had you not given me the shot to do the work in the first place."
yeah,
So,
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, of course, that's very gracious to say, but you and I know the reality that there's a lot of material out there.
yeah.
It's a whirlwind of story out there. There's millions of ebooks that are put out every year. So
Mhm.
um it's we though we wish it was true that all you have to do is be really good. you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, you can be really good and maybe you'll be really good for like a small handful of people and that's all that's ever gonna
yeah.
you're ever gonna reach. But something lucky has to happen and then
Usually several lucky things.
critical mass. Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
a lot of well, I mean, I think for a lot of people, they've got a gift, and all you need is like that one opportunity,
Mhm.
that one chance. You need that, and then if you don't fuck it up, you're good. You
Yeah.
keep going, keep taking chances,
Keep
keep
not
doing
fucking up.
stupid things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, keep working at it. But I'm doing
Hmm.
another series. I don't know if you guys, Chris Porto. He did a book called. He's done a bunch of books, but a book called Optional Retirement Plan that Mr. Bray
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Okay,
But I'm doing a series for him for Athon right now, called The War for Empire. It's the first book was called Legacy. One of my all-time favorite books to narrate. It's
that's so
just
cool.
the way it flows and the characters and just everything about it. Just sometimes sometimes when you're narrating a book, you'll get one that you don't really click with, but you're being
Sure,
paid to do it, so you do it and you do it the best you can.
you put your heart
And
into it. Even
exactly. And
so,
then
yeah.
there's some that just like, "Oh yeah, this was written for me." It's like,
Hmm.
this is me. So, like that. So I'm in the middle of book 2 right now called, Warpath, and really would love for everyone to go out and check these out. They're very, very good. Chris is an incredibly talented writer, and boy, does he do sci-fi well, both comedic,
Well,
military, and, like, hard, serious sci-fi.
send me some links
Yeah,
for those and I'll put them up in the group and stuff. I mean,
will do.
the people in the shit bus, they're always looking for new stories, man. They've always got dead air that they need to fill. They're very busy people. I always see them all the time. What else is out there, you know? So
Oh,
I'm sure they won't mind.
I'm happy to fill that gap.
Yeah,
I've got
totally.
up to almost 50 books now.
I can't have you done 50?
Just about, yeah.
I can't I can't guarantee that anybody's going to see it because Zuckerberg, but you know, I'll do what I can.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I don't think I have any pull, man. I don't think anybody sees anything. The only time I get like a real response on Facebook is when I mention anything having to do with like Jake or Gibbs. Then I see there's like an ass load of eyeballs and likes and comments and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Hey, okay. How do they find you on Audible?
Here.
What are they searching for? Your full name.
Garrett Michael Brown.
Yeah.
That's
and
me.
I think does it not work on there, Mr. Brown? Does it not work on there that like they can click on your name and they'll
yeah,
get like your profile and it'll show your
absolutely.
picture. So yeah, you can
On Amazon or Audible or Goodreads or I don't know, lots of different places. But yeah,
I want to talk some shit on you for a minute too, because well, so what's fun, right, is I see the questions that fans of like Bob ask him all the time, right? They don't ask me these questions. They don't care about this shit from me, but like Bob, you know, Bob does live stream and invariably I see the question, you know, how much
he does not like that mailman. God damn it.
Hey, paycheck, boy. Come here. He's pissed.
Uh-oh. Sorry, paycheck.
Oh man. Okay. What? All right.
You're talking a little guy.
Can you excuse me? Just
of course.
Come here, buddy. Come here. I'm gonna close this so you're not getting mad at folks. Okay? Come here. You wanna? Oof. Oh my God, you're heavy. Oh. 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 Okay. Wave high. Oh, Jesus.
You're a popular man, Jeff.
I apologize.
You're a popular man.
So, okay, what was I? What was? Oh, right. Sorry. So, the question that they ask so often is how much research do you do on these books that you read? You know, do you go through and you read them all before you get started and take notes on the characters? And Bob has his way of answering that question. It usually includes profanity, but that's Bob. But I hear that question and I think, man, that's cute. Like, there's like no narrator does that, guys. Seriously, they have a gig. There's a book. That's a payday. They get the book. They use their instincts as performance artists to go through and improvise on the fly. And a lot of times the character emerges through the performance. So, you know, for the first few pages, maybe things are a little flat to start. And then, you know, the performance livens up as they get their legs under them. All narrators work this way. They don't have the time for that other shit. Or so I thought. Because when I went to Vegas, it was November, I think. I come down to the lobby one morning, and I think it was after the whole party was over and everybody was getting ready to go, or at least I was getting ready to go home. And I come down and here's Garrett just sitting at a table, and I think it was your iPad, or just had an iPad, and he's got a little notebook here and he's taking notes. And I come and I sit down and it's a big wall of text. It looks like some shit that somebody wrote. And I was like, well, you don't write books. What are you doing? And he says, oh, well, I'm reading the book before I perform it. I'm taking notes on all the characters and everything. And I was the unicorn.
That's what we're supposed to do.
I don't know that anybody else puts that much effort into it, man.
We're supposed to. We're told to.
Really? Is that how it works? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
No, you're supposed to do it. Not a whole lot of people do it. And yeah, so I've gotten. So at that point, I was going through and like taking annotating every character voice with a different color and all that stuff. And it made it a lot easier. I've started getting away from that now, but I will read the actual book first, and then I don't necessarily need to color everything in anymore, and it just flows a little better without color. Blah 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 blah. But yeah.
And are you moving away from that meticulous detail because you're kind of like settling into what you're doing now and you've got more confidence, or is it just you're adjusting
I don't have
for ease
time.
of? Oh,
I don't have
okay.
time. I've got somehow I have to fit like another 12 books in before the end of the year at this point. I don't know how the hell I'm gonna do that.
Jesus
But
Christ.
it's yeah, I don't unfortunately I have time to read it, but I don't have time to like annotate and go be
Yeah,
specific and detail-y and all that kind of stuff. Hopefully it won't change the quality of the stuff I'm putting out.
I can't imagine it would. I mean, there's certain there's certain.
Yeah.
I should close my door so they can't get back in. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'm gonna. Stay out. All right. Oh. I forget what I was saying.
Oh, we're talking about annotating books.
Yeah, no, I know, but
Not a
I
big
still
deal.
forget the point I was going to make. I wasn't going to make a point.
That's all right.
I bloviate.
Any questions you want to pick up?
Yeah, well, actually, because we're on that right now.
Sure.
I want to here. Yeah, that's for you.
Sure. Hi, Penny. I like your witch there. That's cool. Yeah, so I was a music theater actor getting out of college for a bunch of years here in Seattle and in New York City. And I used to sit at my parents' wet bar because it was the 1970s and all houses having to have wet bars. I would read books into my little Fisher Price tape recorder. I just loved to do it, and I'd listen back. And then I was a chef for a number of years here in Seattle for about 15 years, and then my wife and I had a daughter. We had a baby, and I didn't want to miss her growing up because being a chef, I missed my son growing up a lot of the times. Sorry, Coop, I feel terrible about that. And it worked out that I could give this a shot, and we had a 5-year plan. And if I wasn't able to kind of bring the finances up within 5 years, then I'd have to figure something else out. Well, it's 5 years, and I'm doing okay. I'm earning as much, if not more, than I was making as a chef. So, yeah.
See, that's what I asked you last time when we the first time you and I did this together. I asked you that. I said, okay, you've got success. Well, because the discussion we'd had was from the perspective of, okay, so you think you want to be a narrator.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because we did that first one for Keystroke Medium, I think.
Yeah.
But that was something that I asked you. I said, okay, so here's success, but is it paying as much as being a professional chef? And you were like, oh no, not even close. No way. So
at that point it wasn't. Yeah.
So now we've got that milestone too.
Yeah.
How wonderful.
It's
I didn't know you were going to kick all this ass, man.
Oh, thank you. I didn't either. Yeah, I don't think Jane's listening to it, but I wouldn't be able to do this without my wife. It's just not possible for a bunch of different reasons.
So I met her in Vegas with you guys, and I absolutely love her, and Jen and I love you guys together.
Aw, we love you too.
That was a ridiculous amount of fun that we had.
Yeah.
I think well, I don't know. I'm going to be up in Washington Way here in July. I told you
up
about
in
that, right?
Port Orchard, I think. Yeah.
We're talking about getting together.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got a Galaxy's Edge Fan Expo that's happening up there around that time. They invited me to come crash it.
That's awesome.
The guy who's putting the thing on is he's a friend in another in the Discord circle. I don't know if he's on Facebook or even looks at this stuff on Facebook, but he's a good dude, and he puts these big gathering events on for fans of Galaxy's Edge. Sorry, Galaxy's Edge. I've got so many book titles in my head. But Galaxy's Edge, and I was like, "Are you sure Anspatch is going to be cool with that? Like, this is his gig, man. It's his party. It's his people." And they're like, "Yeah, but you got a lot of overlap in your readers. They know about you. They'd like to have you come." And I was like, "Fuck, that's really cool. Thank you."
That's awesome. That's
so
really cool.
I'm going to go up there. I've told some of my readers about it. There's a few of them that got together, and they kind of planned on the side, like, okay, we're all going to go. And then I don't know, they're probably going to dump igloo full of Jello over my head or something when they see me. I don't know what to expect.
Oh, they're gonna love you. Get out of here, and they'll dump Jello over your head. Both
Yeah,
of those things.
I was thinking like I've got a house that I rented up there, and I was almost going to say that like I'd love to cook something for you guys, but I don't even know if I should sign up for that because I don't know what I'm going to be doing there, and I don't even like that's not my kitchen, so I don't know what it's going to be outfitted with.
Yeah.
So maybe like I'll scramble you one egg and
Sure.
can
Man, any food I have to cook for myself, I will friggin' take.
Yeah,
man.
right. I got over I think it was around Christmas. I did a beef Wellington. Christ, that came out good. I was so proud of myself.
Those pictures were goddamn gorgeous,
so
dude.
Proud of myself,
Those were
man.
goddamn
There's
gorgeous.
time.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is not an easy thing to do.
Well, yeah. You know what? I think it was easy enough because like it's not like you're making a souffle. You know that shit's hard. But from just like it's I think that's why I enjoy cooking so much. I think that's why I enjoy writing and other things that I do. It's because it's like procedural, right? So it's this process that you can build on and refine and improve as you go. And like I'm wired for that, you know. And then with food itself, there's such a concrete, tangible metric when you're done. You know, it's not like you write a story and you know you can get bizarre or confusing feedback about it, right? Oh, I liked all the gun stuff. Oh, why did you put all the gun stuff in there? That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
you kind of shit. What ingredients do I include in this thing, right? You can kind of drive yourself crazy, and then you just say, oh well, I guess I just got to go with my gut because this is very sloppy science here, right? But when you're cooking, if food is delicious, it's goddamn delicious, and there's not much you can do about that, right? So if I make a thing and somebody's eyes roll back in their head,
you win.
You know,
you win.
Yeah.
It's even better if you don't have Yelp reviews afterwards.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. So I mean, that's also the bonus, right? That I don't like. I couldn't imagine trying to do it professionally. I've seen dudes do it professionally. Good God.
It's not it's a lifestyle. It's not just a career.
You know what? I'm going to give spoilers. I just wrote a scene in Commune 7 very recently. And I was thinking about you when I wrote it.
Get out of here.
Because it was because Jake was having this discussion with someone, and they were talking about like old professions, right? And how much weight everybody used to put on old professions and how they were ultimately meaningless. You know, they didn't mean anything at all. And he's having this, and you know, part of that is like me kind of poking at the readers because they always, what did Jake do for a living before that? It doesn't fucking matter, you know?
Yeah.
So that's also me kind of going, but you know, playfully so. I'm doing it in a way I think that is fun and playful, and it's a little bit of a wink. And also, I think it serves the story. It serves understanding of Jake's character, but it's also a way for me to kind of communicate my thoughts right there in the text on the matter. And he's just saying, you know, guys came back from the war and they became IT managers, you know, running computer networks. And one thing's got nothing to do with the other. Serial killers like worked for the post office or they were members of their church, and one thing's got nothing to do with another, right? There were social media influencers who the only thing they really looked for was like power or influence. And so there wasn't really anything to them at all. They were just empty people. And, you know, chefs, whoever they were, they'd work 16 hours a day, come home, and they'd either smoke, watch TV, try to spend time with their kids, or become alcoholics.
Yeah.
And, you know, not to say, of course, that you were an alcoholic, or I was thinking that, but like, I know it's a problem with the industry too.
It's a
like
massive problem. Yeah. Highest alcoholism rate, highest drug use rate, highest heart attacks, highest divorce rate.
Oh, just from the stress though.
Yeah. And the stress, the food, the smoking, the drugs, the drinking, the working 16 hours a day, 6-7 days a week. It's there's definitely some changes now post-pandemic, which is making me very happy for that. for that industry because it was just not a good thing for
No,
anyone
and I
trying to
mean,
do it.
God, it's such, having a good restaurant that you can go to that's not, just the salt and butter house.
Yeah.
Having a place where there's craftsmanship going on, where you can get some real food made by a master. That's such a gift to have, and it's such a sadness that it's so hard to keep a business like that afloat. I mean, it's debilitating, and so many gifted cooks, they just, they fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
They go into debt, they lose everything,
You burn out.
and it's just heartbreaking. And then, you've got another fucking Olive Garden on the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me find another. Look at this. You're gonna do with more with all gifts bestowed.
Please do.
I
Please
appreciate
do.
that.
I love that book.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. That's very nice. I liked writing it. That was fun. I liked writing Sigma. He was very fun.
Yeah.
Very
Think of AI.
very easy humor.
Yeah.
With that character. That's easy. Just gimme. It's so simple to write. You don't even have to think about it. And it's just, I thought it was funny. His sort of guileless stupidity. But so there's some things I'll say about that. For a while, I was being kind of a cagey little shit, and I indicated that there were actually other books in that universe already, but I wouldn't say what they were. You gotta go find them. And it's like, oh, stop being such a twit. People want to know which ones are connected, and because when I make it obvious in the books, I was really looking forward to it because it's kind of like this fun twist, like right at the end, But then I realized, well, if I don't really let people know that these things are connected, then I'm shooting myself in the foot, because they may never get that connection. They may not know, hey, maybe this is something you want to read over here. So the World Ship series is actually in the same universe as All Gifts Bestowed. And
get out of here.
Yeah, no, it is. And All Gifts Bestowed leads, into that series. Obviously that series happens much further down the line, but
interesting.
That series is kind of my prediction as to where does something like what we had at the end of All Gifts Bestowed, like that ending kind of sets up a lot of questions. Like, shit, what happens now, right? So the World Ship series was kind of my answer, like, well, this is what happens now. So if you want to know what happens next, you should go get that. And I know they changed from Bob to Michael Kramer, first book to second book, and a bunch of people, got disappointed over that. I'm very sorry. Business reasons, Bob could not continue to do it. But Jesus Christ, if you're going to have someone do a book like Michael Kramer,
you can do way
kinda,
more. My Lord,
like that dude is royalty, man.
Yeah, he really is.
He and his wife Kate, I think they did the Wheel of Time together, did they not?
They think they did.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very rarefied air. So pleased to have him finish that series. Bob obviously was first choice, but he was who I knew also. Like, yeah, it never would have occurred to me that, oh yeah, Michael will do it. But he picked it up, finished it off, and did an incredible job.
Outstanding.
So much so now that when I think Udo, I hear Michael's voice.
Oh, no kidding. That's great.
That's his character now.
That's great.
To me personally, in here, he owns that character. He did such an astonishing job bringing it home, especially handling the personality shift from early Udo to later Udo. I thought he did that deftly. So yeah, those are related, and I also have thoughts toward doing more in that setting later. As Kramer was finishing up Udo the God, I sent him a message and said, I really love how you've done this. I think you are absolutely incredible. Listen, I think I can do more in this setting, but I wouldn't want to approach that idea without confirming that you might be interested in going ahead with that, or I might just go work on something else. And he said, yeah, I'd do more with this.
That's outstanding.
So of course that changes, down the line. It might be, hey, you ready to go? And he's like, I'm very busy right now. I can't do it, which would be fine.
Yeah.
Which would be totally fine. But then I think I'd have to consider, like, okay, well, how do I write this now? Because there's specific ideas I have about writing the next books that have to do with how he performs.
Yeah.
And if he's not going to do it, then I've got to, there's a lot that I have to rethink. So that's, I've got commune books I have to finish right now. I'm working off a contract.
Does it help to hear like the narrator's voice in your head when you're writing? So you could write it for that guy or girl?
Oh man. At a certain point it becomes unavoidable that happens. I cannot write a commune book anymore without hearing Bob in my head. Like, as I'm putting the words on the page, he's there in my ear. I can hear him. It can almost be like hallucination. I mean, it's pretty dialed in there. Or
that's cool.
I hear it in my voice, because part of what I do is I always read it back to myself out loud after I've finished.
Really?
Yeah. After every writing session, I go back and I read through it out loud, because I want to hear it spoken, because I know it's going to be spoken.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's certain things that work well just in text. If you're only going to take that material in as text, there's things that will work just fine. There's combinations of words, there's rhythms, there's flows that are just fine if the only place you ever hear them is in your head. But spoken is different. There's different rhythms. There are different syllables that blend together in different ways. Some of them work better together. Other combinations of sounds, they're clunky as hell. They don't come out well.
Yeah.
And I need to hear that to understand what those are.
Yeah.
So that, I'll kind of, that's sort of my editing process beyond, what's spelled wrong or whatever. It's like, I'll read it out just to hear the words. And I know what's not right very quickly when I do that.
Yeah. Cool.
Let me see. I'm sorry. I am also going through questions here. There's the thing is actually filled up quite a bit. So thanks to everybody for getting in there. That one, 8 to 10 hours a day, longer they are, the better. Yeah. I always kind of thought that. I thought the longer the book, the more value to the reader, right?
There's definitely a sales uptick when you get above like 10, 12 hours if you're going to spend one of your Audible tokens or whatever on it. Like anything below 10 tends not to sell, so you got to like package 3 together to get the money's worth out of it. Like for instance, I just did a series for Rick Partlow called Star Bounty, and each one of those books was anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. I mean, just so fun.
Rapid fire too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And they didn't sell particularly well individually because there were 6 to 8 hours.
So you got to set them out in an omnibus, right?
In there, and it's like 24, 28 hours for one credit. It sells like gangbusters now.
Yeah. Well, I think people get that too. Well, I've seen both ways. I've seen people like, I guess a long book is going to work if the person really knows they want it, right?
Yeah. A lot more returns on long books too.
Well, yeah, there's also well, like for me, okay, if I'm in a position where the only time I listen to an audiobook is when I'm driving and I use that to beat the traffic. That means I want the longest thing I can get, because popping a credit to keep the tunes going while I'm driving into work, man, that gets expensive after a while. You really need to maximize that runtime.
Yeah,
that's how I see it. But I think people see it all different ways. I will also post this because it's somebody speaking in the very kind contrary to what I had said earlier. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Aww.
I like hearing what people enjoy. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. People are enjoying your Fisher Price tape recorder comment. That's
Thank you.
That
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 little
sounds
red hard plastic one that looked like an egg almost that popped up. Yeah, I was looking
that
at.
sounds so universal to the way we used to entertain ourselves in
Oh
the
yeah,
in the 80s when we didn't have
anything.
all these different gadgets and devices and this wondrous technology. It was like, just I'm gonna play my voice back to myself, and that is rad.
The more mouth noise and the more page noise, the better. Please. I have no idea why. It was just fun.
Okay, here's somebody who's gonna come to Washington. He's gonna be there in the bear outfit.
And a
That's
bear
right.
outfit.
We're gonna
Okay.
reenact the Wicker Man with you, not the bees. Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to.
No, it's okay.
Oh no! Oh no! That's my son.
Oh, get out of here.
You must be watching this on YouTube. Boy, if you're still here, son, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're bored to tears.
That's funny. We should have our sons like chat somewhere, like in the private chat, and like complain about us.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but he's probably got better things to do. You know.
Yeah.
I think somebody asked me at one point, like, what's it like having your family read your stuff? And I have to say, well, I don't know. Jen reads some of the things that I do, but like what I write is not really her wheelhouse, you know.
Yeah.
She reads all the commune stuff for me and just
Mhm.
gives me her thoughts on what I'm doing. But I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she's now invested because she's kind of been in there with all these characters.
Mhm.
So she wants to know what happens next. I can say that she loved 6, but
Awesome.
I mean, it's a Gibbs book. It writes itself. You don't even have to work that hard. You just let Gibbs do what he does, right? And
Yeah.
don't get in his way, and then off you go, man. So, but yeah, my kid, he's not. You want a cowboy roll, father? Oh, they brought some food back. I'll come down and get it in a minute. Thank you.
Awesome.
What time is it? How long have we been doing this? Hour and
1 hour
41.
and 41 minutes.
Finish
We
it
can
up
kill it
sometime.
whenever you want.
But yeah, I don't. He's not he's not big on reading. I don't think he enjoys it.
Hey, something I've sort of wondered about as we take a quick left turn here.
Sure, yeah.
Any thought about getting together with Fuchs and doing a little Gibbs fic kind of action?
We've talked about that in the past, and like I'm not opposed to it.
Oh my
Like
God.
it would be
That'd be
it
amazing.
it would be understood that this is something that's like not in universe, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to be continuity bound by anything that we did. It would totally be like a what if type
It'd be like
scenario.
an Elseworld kind of a situation.
But I would, I'd be up for it. I think it would be fun. When I bring it up with other writers, though, I mean, the thing is, they've all got their projects,
Sure.
and it's hard to work something in like that, and especially like Fuchs is one wildly known for what he does. 2, very successful. 3, I think this is all he does. Like he doesn't have any other thing that he's pursuing. Like this is his gig. And it's kind of hard to ask people who are doing that to, like, hey, come do this experimental thing because like you're busy making money,
Yeah. No, I understand that. Yeah.
So I don't really see it happening anytime soon. And then especially like I've got the rights to these characters, so I can do whatever the hell I want with them.
Right.
But a lot of these guys don't necessarily have that, depending on what deal they've signed with their publisher. And I don't know who's got what, right? Like I don't know the specifics of this, but the IP, it's like it's nowhere near as bad as what like the movie studios have to go through to get Spider-Man and Captain America together on the page.
Yeah.
But that shit still exists with what I do too. So I
Sure.
think it's probably just like more. I think there's more roadblocks than any of us want to fight through to make that happen. To be honest,
that makes sense. Yeah.
It's like I said, if it's like 100% on me and my time, I'd have fun doing that. Do like a little novella or something, or make it part of a short story bundle. Just guys in a bar,
Oh
doing
my God, yes.
doing whatever. And no problem. I'd jump at the chance to work with a lot of the people I'm like friends with professionally.
Mhm.
But you know, everybody's got their gig, everybody's got their thing they're doing, so it's probably not likely.
Yeah.
I think the collabs that are easy to do is like when, Devin, come write this thing with me. Like
Sure.
he's been very cool about that.
That's awesome.
I think those collaborations are easier to work out, because then you just get together, and if you have the rights to the thing, hey, come on and write in this universe, and then you're not going to have these IP struggles. Yeah, I think that's it.
Fair enough. I get all that, but as a complete fanboy, that would be so fun to hear.
Yeah, well, I know some of these guys have put references to stuff that I did
Allinson did.
in there, but yeah, Craig did.
Yeah,
That was
fun.
really flattering. Yeah, he asked if he could do that before
Oh,
he
that's
did.
so
Like,
cool.
I don't want anybody to think that he just goes, like, he reaches out and asks, "Hey, would it be all right with you?" And I was like, he asked me that. I was like, man, of course. That's good God. Yeah, I
That's
would.
so cool.
I am honored. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
So I think it's about time to cut it. But
Fair enough.
you got anything else you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
Yeah. Come listen to my books. I think you'll like them. Yeah, I've got one from Craig DeLuey coming out. He wrote Crash Dive and Armor and Suffer the Children and all kinds of stuff. But I've got that coming out called Jinn, DJINN, coming out on the 16th of this month. I've got Warpath coming out a couple weeks after that, written by Chris Porteau. And then that'll have a podium book in there. I'm doing a series of 5 books for them. And those will be done by the end of the year. And then there's some other books kind of sprinkled around in there. But my website is charliecooperaudio.com. Come check it out. Come listen to my stuff. And Josh, thank you so much for having me on, man.
Yeah, and like I said, man, send me the links to those projects, and I'll make
will.
sure they get out there, and I'll try to get as many people to see them as I can.
I will. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
then
good luck with the release of 6 coming up here.
Yeah, here comes Commune 6, guys. And then I think, I'm supposed to have, Devin and I are working on 7 right now, and I think we're supposed to have that turned in for end of year publish this year.
Outstanding.
I don't know. Like, I don't promise these things, but that's kind of what we're trying to target right now. So we'll see how that goes. But please don't consider that to be a commitment or promise, because it's all very.
Hey, when it comes, it comes, and we shall be happy and enjoy it.
Yeah, basically shit happens. Yeah. So it happens when it does. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for getting on. We had a pretty good haul.
Yeah, I think we did.
Good amount of people. So everyone take care. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for the questions. Everyone enjoy yourselves.
See you, buddy. Talk to you soon.